Jr. wanted to do. The civil rights icon wrote and spoke about the need to pull more people out of poverty.
Do you guys think that Dr. King would be happy to see what you're doing at Crisis Assistance Ministry?
You know, I'll say yes and no. I know Dr. King would be happy that so many people in our community care, and this is a representation of thousands of people who give and care and serve. But I do believe it would be a disappointment that so many people still need services like this. Our vision is that we live in a community that doesn't need so much crisis assistance ministry. I think what's important for all of us as individuals is to look back at the works of Dr. Martin Luther King, look back at his sermons, and realize how each of us individually can relate and make change.
Alex Giles reporting. To learn more about Crisis Assistance Ministry, check out the organization's website at crisisassistance.org.
So we must go all out to mobilize a real war against poverty.
King's War on Poverty message made it to Charlotte when he spoke at Johnson C. Smith University 57 years ago, and WBTV was there. This moment in history, thought lost to time, found in our archives. We also found a JCSU student who was there that day as well. His name is Kurt Peters. We talked about the experience and what the visit meant to him and other students.
Everyone was making sure that they could get in.
57 years ago, Kurt Peters made this same walk through the heart of Johnson C. Smith's campus.
It's one of those things where you just had to be there.
In the school's gymnasium that day wasn't the basketball team.
To put a man on the moon, we can certainly spend billions of dollars.
When did you find out Dr. King was coming to campus?
It was a surprise situation. And nobody knew because of his travel schedule.
What did it mean to you? What did it mean to the university that he chose this as one of his stops?
We were on the map. This was where things were getting changed.
Change Peters helped chronicle as the editor of the JCSU student newspaper.
I came in the 60s when J.C. Smith students were leading the marches, going to the library, going uptown to really beat the drums for us to reach some sort of equality.
Thousands and even millions of people are unemployed.
And there were none bigger than Dr. King.
In this America, the Negro finds himself living in a triple ghetto. Ghetto of race, a ghetto of poverty, a ghetto of human misery.
Man, it's a living memory.
First time you'd see him in person?
Yes. Yes, first time.
And for Peters, the first time was a bit of a blur. He wasn't there just to listen, he was there to work, to take photos for the school's paper and yearbook.
As you can see, most back in the day, people got dressed up.
Sure.
You know, something like this was like going to church on a Tuesday night. Dr. King's coming.
And they hung on every word.
Our power is not in bricks and bottles. Our power is not in looting. Our power is in the strength of our bodies standing up for what is right.
Did that resonate with the crowd? How did you feel about that message?
He was in a situation of peace at J.C. Smith, and the majority of the people who were there to see him were of that nature. There was no bang down the door attitude. When he left and the crowd dispersed, it was one of mellowness and of let's get together to get the job done.
Get it done as one.
Somewhere we must come to see that maybe the need in America is not white power or black power, but static power, where black and white get together and solve the problem.
I want to be like him. I want to sound like him. I want to articulate like him. I want to put words together that will impact people, that'll come about as change. And, you know, he was a great, great role model.
In the long history of this university and all the great things that have happened, where does this visit rank?
It's a highlight without a doubt. And for those people who were there, It was something they never, ever, ever forget. They might not remember the date, but if they say, were you there? I was there.
A witness to history. Dr. King would have turned 95 this week. He was born on January 15, 1929. He was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee, April 4th, 1968. Martin Luther King Jr. Day wasn't established as a federal holiday until decades later. Legislation was passed in 1983, and the first nationwide observance didn't happen until 1986. South Carolina was the last to recognize it as a paid holiday for state employees. That happened May 2nd, 2000. And in honor of the holiday, one of Charlotte's biggest traditions returned this year, the MLK Day Parade. It started back in 1981, but hasn't happened for the past few years because of the pandemic. Well, on Saturday, as you can see, thousands of people gathered in uptown Charlotte to celebrate Dr. King's life and legacy. On your side tonight, photojournalist Gregory Simpson uses his camera to take you there.
It's the Martin Luther King Parade that we're celebrating the history and what he's done for all of America.
A lot of the people from the Black community, sororities, fraternities, community agencies, just to celebrate and say, you know, we are unified as one people, and we are working every day to make sure that we keep King's dream alive.
This is the first parade since 2020. We're all excited. We have a wonderful crowd, beautiful weather. It's important to me because of Dr. King's dream. Some of his dream is being realized today. We've got work to do.
You know, he did so much for us as a people, as a nation, and it's just paying homage, man. Being in education and just being part of the Divine Nine is just something that's important to me and my family, just to be out here to support. Just for my kids to see this, simply because, you know, you want to expose them to greatness, and you can look around and see it.
And as a community of people, not only Black people, but people of Charlotte, we need to always keep his legacy alive and remember all the sacrifices he made just so that we can be where we are today. We've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go.
It was a wonderful morning. Now, after the parade, the city gathered to recognize those doing the work to improve people's lives. It was the annual Growing the Dream Luncheon. It was held at Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. The room was packed as grassroots individuals were honored for not letting Dr. Martin Luther King's dream die. The recipients of the Growing the Dream Award say serving is in their DNA.
When you notice you're called to be a servant, you know, it's not work. You know, you live a purpose-filled life, and so the things that come along with it, it kind of shocks you, you know. But anytime you're being recognized for good service, you know that, you know, God's called you to do a work, and you're being recognized, it's always a good feeling.
You will hear from more of the award recipients coming up later in our newscast. Coming up next. From helping the homeless to registering people to vote to organizing youth programs, the local Alpha Phi Alpha is helping their community.
It's not easy doing this work. You do it because you love it, and you do it because you want to make sure that you're making a difference.
How they're continuing the work that Dr. King started. Hey folks, WBTV's primetime